Hello there, and welcome to 10 Candles, the third game in our 24-hour stream. I'm Simao. You will have to deal with me for the next 3 hours as opposed to Alex, and you'll also have to endure or enjoy the company of my fellow players. Just a couple of things. This game will most likely deal with subjects that some people might find quite disturbing, mostly gore and mainly death. This is a game where I'll just kind of say that now and reiterate later on. This is a game where the characters that we have present are going to die by the end, and it's a game about telling the story of that end and how the characters will deal with the situation that is opposing them and what they do with the last moments that they have. So first of all, I think we're going to introduce my lovely group of players that are present and very much looking forward to playing. So hello everyone.
Hello.
So let's start from my right and go around.
Hello, I'm Holly again. Sorry, this is the third game and the last game we'll be in. I'm sorry, I'll be out of your hair soon.
Hello, I'm Rich. This is my first and last game of the night, so greetings.
Hi, I'm Ellie and I came along with him.
Great. So as you can see, we all have 10 candles in front of us. 10 Candles is a game that is usually meant to be played with live flame and also be played around one table, but obviously for obvious reasons we can't do that, so we kind of found a different way of reorganizing the game. This is also a game where the characters get created at the very beginning of the session, and it is a game that very much implies and says in the book that no one should do any prep. So none of us have really done any prep other than watching the video from the writer of the game, Steve Dewey, who made a video about how to play the game, but kind of kept a couple of surprises away so that I can still send some stuff your way that you don't know. The main concept of 10 Candles is that 10 days ago the world went dark and all satellites went off. The sky itself was just black. No sun, no stars, no moon, no anything. 5 days ago, they came. Who are they? That's something we're going to discover during character creation. And so I think we can really start there. So I'm going to ask everyone to light up 3 candles. So now will be the time where we're going to start thinking about who we are. We are the 3 people present here. So you all have pieces of paper. You're not going to write in them right now. And instead, you are going to think of a virtue. A virtue should be a single word that is a quality of a person and solves more problems that it creates. So just have a think. And when you're ready, you are going to look to the player to your left, and you'll be looking at Ellie. So it's going to look weird on camera. And you are going to then, we'll go around and we'll say what the virtue of that person is, and you can then write on the kind of little pieces of paper that you have. So you will have a virtue that you can tell someone else.
Yeah.
Elliot, let's start with you.
Confidence.
Confidence. So write that on your virtue card.
So I write confidence.
Yes. So that is a trait of your character.
Honest.
Intelligent.
Great. So now we go to the fun part. Vices. You are going to look to the player on your right, and you're going to define a vice of that character. This should also be a one word trait and should create more problems that it will solve. as you are thinking about it, I'll kind of explain what these are for. So during the course of the game, you will have the opportunity of burning, or in this case, we're going to tear them. We're going to tear our vices or virtues, depending on which one is on top, to re-roll ones on the dices. Because in 10 candles, the conflicts are resolved by rolling as many dice as there are candles lit up. So you will all start by rolling 10s, and then eventually we will start progressively. Succeeding in tasks is going to be more and more complicated. You succeed by rolling a 6, that's all you have to do. But with each success, and every time you roll a 1, that dice is off the table for the remaining of the scene. And the scene ends when a candle is darkened when you don't roll any 6s. So, do we all have a vice for our companions? Yep. Start with you.
Jealous.
Addictive.
Cockiness.
What was that, Elisa?
Cockiness.
Great. So now, before we start thinking now that we have our vices and our virtues, I'm going to introduce the module. Full disclosure, you guys have already received this little bit of text. That's news to Holly, apparently. But yes, I shared that, but I will just share that to the wider audience. No one's coming. Not anymore. The radio's gone dead, and you're on your own now. There's only one option left. Fort Victor. All the chatter on the radio seems to imply that Victor's the place to be, but you're a good hour or more out, over the river and through the woods, literally. Everyone else has packed up and left by now. The town hall's fallout shelter is a slim pickings. Not enough food to last the next few days, not to mention the fact that the generator's been acting up. Maybe a few supplies could still be scavenged, but one thing's for sure. It's time to leave. So, next thing we're going to do is this thing that we call create concepts. So, you have your virtues, you have your vices. So it's time to decide the name of your character. It's time to decide what they look at a quick glance. And just in a few words, just describe who they are and what are they. This is something that is also very much implied in the book. You can play non-humanoid characters. You can play a dog, you can play a cat, play whatever you want.
Sorry, I'm just cracking up, but honest and cocky for a dog. I feel like it's like quite applicable. Just like, yeah, I'll tell you honestly what you think about, and I will rush into danger with no thought for my, So I am kind of tempted by that, also because I'm quite tired and I may not be playing my best. I feel like, oh yeah, I'm in character as a dog.
So yeah, I think, and then just write those things down, just very.
Then again, I was supposed to be leaving voice messages. Can I talk as a dog?
Yeah.
You're a talking dog, obviously.
We just had a game where everyone played birds.
That's fine.
Birds with guns.
I think we're good.
No one asked how they pulled the triggers.
There is literally a module in the book which is everyone plays as a dog. So.
I'm worried that's going to be too sad playing as a dog.
Just thinking and writing. Yeah, in a minute we'll go through and just introduce who they are. I should probably say this whilst you're writing. This is a game that is quite ritualistic. You'll see that there's a couple of things that are going to repeat and keep on happening throughout the game, and it's kind of the point to create that sense of hopeless end or kind of inevitable end that is always going to happen. see how that turns out in the end. Need to start in 10 minutes. Good. Good. Okay. Who wants to start? If not, I'll just choose.
Yeah, I'll start.
Yep.
I've gone with Caroline. She's a sort of 50s, short grey hair, very prim and proper with her little buttons down. That she hates the fact she's dirty. A few little bits of jewellery that she's like playing with, and really nervous in the corner, but kind of like that OCD tendencies.
Mm-hmm. Great.
I'll be playing as Sparkles the cat. I'm a pure white cat with a black glittery collar. I walk around with my nose in the air like I'm better than everyone else, but secretly I covet what everyone's got. Just because they've got it, not because I want it, but because they've got it and I don't.
Did you say Sparkles is white fur?
Oh yes.
I was going to play as M, who is in her late teens. She got sort of into the sort of amateur survival sort of genre with her dad, so she kind of feels like she's got it and she can survive the apocalypse. So like she's read a couple of books and like she she had like a couple of things of water in a bag and she figures she's got this. This is what she's been waiting for.
Great. Brilliant. Great. Okay. So, it is now time to plan our moments. So at this point, we're going to light up 3 more candles. At this point, everyone is going to write a moment. Where you have your card saying moment, I want you to write, I will find hope, or I will be hopeful, kind of variations of that sentence. And then you are going to think about a moment where your character will kind of overcome and achieve and find the hope that they are so desperately looking for. This can be, for example, it is an event that is reasonable to achieve, but equally reasonable that can be failed. And keep it succinct and clear. It is a scene where your character is going to take the spotlight. So think of what that moment will be according to the characters that you have created so far. It can be stuff, it can be simple things like, I will find hope when one of them perishes at my feet, or I will find hope when I find the sun again. Things like that. Or simply when I reach Fort Victor, for example, if we're relating it to the module specifically. M, do you want to start?
I will find hope when I solve a problem with something in my prepared backpack.
Great. Sparkles.
I will find hope when I find a catnip warehouse or a large amount of catnip. Maybe the pet shop, something like that.
And Caroline?
I will be hopeful when I see we aren't like them.
When we see, sorry?
When we see we aren't like them.
Well, I'm obviously not. I'm better than them.
Great. So now we're going to think of our brinks. Not our brinks, however. We're going to think of the brinks of the person to our left. So I'm going to participate in this one, and I'm going to think of the brink for Caroline. You are going to think of the brink for them.
No pressure.
So this is on the brink. I want you all to write "I've seen you," and I'll write. Caroline, you can write "They've seen you."
Should I write I've seen them? Yeah.
No, you write. I write. I've seen them. Yeah, it's the thing that this would pass along.
Yeah.
So you'd be correct if we were
Yeah.
playing at the same
Yeah.
table. Yeah, bit weird. I understand. This is also the tricky one. Is that I'm going to ask you to. The brinks are meant to be kept secret. So we're all on Discord together. So just private message, if possible, the person to your left about what they have seen. And at this point, we're also lighting up 3 candles.
Just 3 more.
3.
Well, there's no batteries in this one.
Well, I guess we're starting.
We're
with
doomed.
9.
Oh, there is. Just
Doing one for them is really hard.
They can be anything. Really?
So is this something bad they're going to do, or this is something that would like worry them? Or?
So yeah, for players, it can be it should be a word or a simple kind of descriptive phrase, and things like "I have seen you kill," "I have seen you facing the darkness and turning into your real self," things like that. And for them, it will kind of define who they are. So you can write, for example, the examples that we have are, "I've seen them move like shadows, shape shift in front of me, or howl at the pale moon." So, yeah, so we're going to be dealing with things like that. Yep. Have our brinks. So the brinks will be kept secret until such a moment where they are revealed. And I would like now everyone to arrange the stacks of paper that you have in any order that you'd like, as long as the brink is at the bottom. And no more than one moment of yours should be at the top. So one of you can have a moment at the top if you want, but no more than one of you.
Simply the top. concept as well.
No, the concept can be left to the side just to remind you who
So
these
it's
characters are.
vice, virtue, and moment together.
Vice, virtue, moment, and break, yeah. With break at the bottom. And when you have the card on top is known as being the active card. So when you have your moment active, please let me know so that we can start to gear the story towards having that moment
Find a cat.
be lived.
Great. So,
We're not going to deal with the inventory that you all have. You have exactly what you personally have in your pockets right now. That's what your characters have.
I have a large collection of sherbet straw.
That is impressive. Like a cat with short straws. Sure. And we're going to light the last candle. We now should all have 10 candles. Roll credits. On. The very last thing that we're going to do before we jump in is we're going to record a message. This is your last will or kind of parting gift, parting words as you are about to embark on the journey to get to Fort Victor. And it's something that if the world remembers you for anything, will be for this message. So we're going to start with Caroline. So feel free to pick up your phone and record it.
Record it out loud.
Yeah.
Just, To whoever hears this, I hope I've done right by my life. I hope my obsessions have been worth it. And I hope there are still books out there somewhere.
We're setting off. We have to leave. There's nothing here. There's no supplies. There's no anything. Hopefully, everything will be fine and no one will ever hear this message of me at my worst. I can't stand it. I just need some supplies.
Hi B, if you're hearing this, this means that you're alive, which is great, but means that I'm probably not. Best of luck. I hope you remember everything Dad taught us. Good luck out there. Bye.
The town hall's fallout shelter was built during the Cold War. There was massive fear of what detonating the first nuclear bomb would incur to the rest of the world. So a place where people congregate and find shelter was built underneath the town hall, which is also when the darkness came, everyone converged. The shelter fulfilled its purpose. But now everyone's left. Where to? You don't know. You've created friendships, as much as friendships are, well, possible in times like these. And people kind of separated into different places. You've heard rumors of different locations that are safe, but Fort Victor seems to be the one that calls your attention. In the end, only the three of you are left. Caroline, a middle-aged woman, Em, a teenager, and Sparkles the cat. You are set on leaving the shelter you yourselves. And so it is time to do that. The floor is open. What would you like to do?
Just need to get the door open, see what's out there, see if it's safe to go outside.
I think we need to pack up everything that we've got left here. We need to take it with us as far as we can. We don't know what's going to happen on the way, so I think we pack everything that's left in this place and then take it with us.
It's a much better idea.
Luke can trust in you with your adventurous skills.
Yep. I'll run around and pick up anything that we can find that might be slightly useful. Food mostly, as much food as we can find.
Yeah, we want to make sure we get a warm welcome at Fort Victor. So I feel like if we bring what we can, then they'll probably welcome us with open arms. We could be bringing them a lot of important help.
I get a warm welcome everywhere I go. Look at me, I'm beautiful.
Well, it's all right for some.
So you'll be looking for supplies? Who's doing that?
Well, I guess it's me.
It's time to roll our first conflict roll. So, 10 candles are on.
Okay.
Roll all your d10s. D6s, not d10s.
Oh no.
You've got the wrong guys.
Oh,
You don't have the dice.
What time is it? Why? Okay. What do I want? Sixes.
Do you have at least 1 6?
I do have at least one six.
Any ones?
I do have a 1.
So everyone's going to take a 1 out. And that dice is off for the rest of the scene. But we have a success. And you have more 6s than I do, because I don't have any dice. So you get to narrate what happens. You get narration rights right now.
Oh, great! No pressure. So we're in the we're in the sort of the nuclear bunker. Yeah, I think we're probably pretty well gathered up the sort of last of the stuff, and we've got like a couple of sort of sturdy backpacks. Obviously, it's difficult to fit Sparkles with a backpack, but we get them a position to sort of sit on top of one of them. You know, obviously in prime position for lookout. But yeah, so we're trying to pack stuff as sort of tightly into these bags as we can. So basically, yeah, the last of the stuff is stowed away, I guess. So we sort of loop around the place, search any last cupboards. Yeah, we're basically completely picking this place clean.
Yeah. There's definitely food for the journey that you think you're about to overtake. And you find a couple of dimly working flashlights. That's all that was left. Yeah.
Progress.
So you kind of gather your supplies and you are about to step out into the world. How long have you all been in the shelter?
I think I probably came within 2 hours of it all going dark, so I've been here 10 days.
Okay. Carlin?
Be 7
7 days?
7 days.
A week? Yep.
Yep.
And
A little bit less, I think probably this was Em's idea that she was trying to get here, so she's travelled here a little way. So yeah, just
So-
5 or 6 days.
5 days? Okay. So, you step out into the world, kind of leaving your shelter behind. It is dark, still, unrelentless. You hear the sound of the wind kind of whooshing through. You don't hear anything that sounds vaguely humanoid or animal, apart from yourselves. And you see out into the distance a very dim light, but kind of elevated, that you would assume it's Fort Victor.
Does everyone see that light? I think that's where we've got to go. Is there a road that kind of leads in that direction? An actual proper path rather than fighting through wilderness at the moment, or?
If you're looking for a road, a conflict. So 9 dice.
All the 6s. Well, 3. But no 1s.
No ones.
No 1s.
Brilliant.
Wow. That's the opposite of how I thought my first roll would go.
Go ahead.
So yeah, I spot this this bright light in the this dim light in the distance, and I'm checking all the paths. I'm like, yep, this path here that leads in roughly the right direction for now. So I think we just kind of skirt along the edge of this path, trying to stay relatively safe, but we can follow this for a good ways, I think.
You walk for a good 15-20 minutes, and you're kind of walking through the town. It's deserted. The buildings completely lights off, doors open and windows shattered, and you just feels a completely ghost town at this point, and it is in a way. Cars are kind of, some of them are still parked where they would usually be, but some of them you can clearly see have almost like the battery went off and kind of just stirred in. There's a couple of crashes there. You do see some bodies still in the cars, but you continue walking unless there's anything you want to do whilst passing through this scenario.
So we've got supplies from the bunker. I don't think we need to start raiding people's houses and things.
I think Emma's just like keeping an eye out for any like car like registrations you might recognise.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Okay. Oh, sixes and a lot of ones.
How many ones?
Oh, good.
Oh no, hang on, that's a 3. I'm blind. Okay, 2 ones.
2 ones. So everyone take 2 dice out. But a 6. Or a couple
Yeah,
of 6s.
4 6s.
Very nice. So, is there anything that she recognises or not?
Yeah, I guess she's looking around at the cars and maybe see something like I don't know what the bounds of the narration are, but maybe see something like an ambulance or something that might have something else in it. You know, so sort of like looking around at the cars and then sees like some kind of useful vehicle.
Yep.
That she's ready to loot basically.
Yeah, you see one of the ambulances that was kind of coming the direction that you are coming from. So you can assume that perhaps was a resupply to the shelter. But you do see that it's there, stopped, the 2 doors wide open, and you can only assume that when everything went dark, phones and electronics, that the ambulance itself stopped working. You can investigate it if you'd like.
Yeah, I'll jump in the back of the ambulance, have a look round, give it a good sniff as well, see if there's anything medical that's useful.
Cool. Go ahead.
All the 6s and still no 1s.
Nice. Yeah.
I jump in, I'm looking around. I reckon I find a couple of packs of bandages, but probably not much else, because if the doors are wide open, it's already been raided by the people that are no longer here. So, but still, a couple of packs of bandages, maybe a packet of painkillers, something relatively, and that's about it.
Absolutely. Yeah. You kind of find that it's not only kind of clear spots where people would go to first, but you kind of smell it and find some of the bandages that have fallen when the ambulance stopped, and you managed to point that out to both Caroline and Em. It is at this point the 2 of you, Caroline and Em, you hear kind of a rustling coming from the side of the road. Very faint, and you're not sure if it's just the wind crossing the broken windows, but you do hear something. But it doesn't sound like it's someone walking, it doesn't sound like it's an animal passing by, it just sounds like wind going. But,
I just freeze and I just grab hold and just like.
Okay. Do you do anything?
I don't want to say anything because I feel like
I think I'd probably be like.
Okay. Yeah. Take the lead.
And you stay silent, and after Sparkles comes in with supplies kind of dangling from you look around and you don't see anything, and you you don't hear anything else. So, coast clear.
What are you doing standing around quietly? What's going on?
I think this is all just like rubbing along the side of our legs, like, yeah.
You put everything in backpacks and you continue walking. You walk for another 10 minutes or so to the point where you're now getting to the outskirts of the city. And you do know, particularly you, having kind of studied and being the person that has the kind of like apocalypse survival kits ready at home, you kind of planned routes out of town in case needed, or into town. And you know that you are on the outskirts of the city, and you know that in order to get to Fort Victor, you need to go past the bridge. You have no idea the condition of the bridge, but you know that it's one of the ways you need to go to, and possibly the quickest. So,
Yeah, I will relay this to these guys. Obviously, my equal party members, mature woman and cat. Yeah, there's a bridge coming up. I don't know whether. I mean, it's probably our best way out of it. It's the most direct way, but I don't know if they have any sort of tactical ideas, because if they do, that's where they would be. I don't know. What do you think?
I think we cross that bridge when we get to it.
Well, I don't know what I expect.
roll a conflict.
Yeah, right. The cat's off the team.
Every con is a conflict.
Oh my god.
I'm screwed.
What do you think?
Yeah, we're going to have to get to it. If that's going to be the quickest way, is it sort of in the direction of where the light is?
Has to be.
Okay, let's head
Yeah.
towards it then, and then check it out.
Yeah.
And then if it seems safe, I guess we just get across it as fast as we can. And then if not, we find a diversion.
Try and head down one different route if we have to. Okay. To the bridge.
You walk past the suburbs, and eventually you arrive at you think is where the bridge is. But the only thing you see is cars. Dozens and dozens of cars. Kind of all parked in different ways. Some of them completely crashed into one another. You see just dried blood on the side of the cars where bodies are hanging from. And you just see that for as far as you can look at, you only see tires underneath. But the two of you see, as far as you can actually kind of visualize, even with your torches and your flashlights, that, yeah, it seems to be that the cars have all kind of funnel into something. And you also see that on the road is just glass, just shards and shards of glass from all the windows of these cars that is broken, and yeah, probably pretty complicated for you.
Yes. My plan was about to be to crawl under all the cars and have a look, but now there's glass everywhere. I don't want to cut my cute little feet. I know we've got bandages, but I'll look silly with like bandage paws up.
Yeah.
But I think we need to move up closer and see if we can see anything, see what's funneled them in, see if there is anything on the bridge, see if there's actually anything to stop them.
Yeah.
But maybe try and do it a little bit subtly, stay low, stay in the shadows.
I mean, if you've got shoes on, we're probably all right with the glass. You'll have to ride on somebody's back.
Okay. And any volunteers to carry me?
Yeah, I'll carry you. Yeah, I picked the cat up.
As you pick Sparkles up, you hear sound of something stepping on shards of glass,
I cover the cat's mouth.
and then it stops.
I'd be sitting with my head on her shoulder so I can see behind her, so that way we've got a whole 360 vision thing going on.
Something's running towards you, and suddenly you see a figure jump on top of one of the cars, and you just have suddenly the three of you, like a torch just passes by your face, and you just hear a Who the fuck are you?
Excuse me? Who the hell are you? We just want to get across.
I'm Sparkles. Do you not know me? I thought everyone knew me.
Why do you want to get across?
To go anywhere else but here. It's horrible.
What's your name?
I'm Caroline.
Who's the cat?
I'm Sparkles. Can't you see my collar?
You miss?
Why?
How long have you been on this side?
7 days for me. A little bit less. Probably a little bit more. It's a cat.
We were in a shelter, but we ran out of food.
You see that figure kind of still keeping what is some sort of weapon pointed at the three of you. Just kind of reaches something on the lapel, and you just hear a cat. Have a couple of civilians and a white cat. Advice? I need someone to run me conflict to
I'll
see.
do it.
How many dice are we on now?
7.
1 1 and 1 6.
Right.
So we're down to 6 now. Right.
Yeah. Got one success. They kind of take their hand off the radio. You hear kind of what appears to be some sort of static, very faint, but there is also some sort of sound voice coming out. They lower their gun, and they kind of approach. All right, you can come forward, but keep your distance.
Thank you.
And moves to the side, over the cars. Still very much keeping an eye out. You've noticed that the gun, which appears to be some sort of shotgun, is kind of 45 degrees, just in case. And you hear some more chatter coming from the radio on their lapel. Yeah. So you're in a shelter, you have supplies on you?
A little bit, not much.
Where are you heading?
Fort Victor.
Yeah. Most people seem to be going there.
Is it safe there? Have you been there?
Well, I've heard things. Assume that that's a good place. I don't like to be where many people are. It's easier on your own, really.
But if I was on my own, who would have carried me over all this glass?
Or they jump over the cars.
I hold the cat's mouth again. What's your name?
I'm Matthew.
How long have you been cocking guns at people?
Well, pretty much since it became dark. I was on that one. I think I points to a Humvee that's around. I found a couple of things around. I stayed here, just looking at the people going in and out. Mostly keep myself for myself, but well, your fur is quite glistening.
I don't blend in with the darkness very well.
Yeah, I can tell. Well, if you're in Fort Victor, you'll have to go through the woods. So, good luck with that.
You've got it.
I'm sure you do.
Is there a way to contact you in case we find Fort Victory is amazing and a paradise?
Roll me a conflict roll.
So there's
Roll me a conflict roll.
a 1 and a 6 again.
Do you have a radio on you?
No, don't think we do.
Well, I'm using a low frequency, but, well, not really.
What frequency are you on in case we find a radio on our travel?
Low, around 40 hertz. Gonna try and find that. Well, Caroline Sparkles, it was a pleasure to meet you.
Likewise.
Kind of starts walking backwards, still maintaining eye on you. Just here again.
How far does he get before he turns around?
He gets about maybe 100 feet. Before kind of, you don't see them, but you see the light. It's turning and then eventually goes off.
He would have been so good to have with us.
A big shotgun seems better than these tiny little cat claws.
I mean, we can always... We got a spare bag. Can we pick up some glass and put it like in a bag? It's like a weapon.
Yeah, you can.
Pick up a handful of glass, put it in a little bag, have a little bag to throw at people now.
I'll say as you're picking it up, just do another conflict roll for me, please.
Put your hand in shreds.
That's 1 and no 6s.
6s.
Guess we need those bandages.
As you are going to pick them up, there is a moment when you're like kind of going down, and you don't really like this, all this dirtiness, and it's just not your environment. You are about to like pick one, and you don't see that there's actually a massive shard placed in there. And as you are about to kind of scoop them, you just feel a pulsing pain on your right palm. As you then look, and there's just this massive triangle hanging from your hand.
Please.
We are going to darken a candle because the scene ends. And it is now time to speak some truths. So at the beginning of each scene, we're all going to speak a truth about the world that we're in, the current situation that we're in. So this, we're still in conflict technically, but this conflict can be resolved through establishing truths, or can be developed through establishing truths. We always start by saying these things are true. The world is dark, and we're going to speak as many truths as there are lit candles. So, these things are true. The world is dark.
This world is really scary and horrible.
This world is really empty. I've just never seen so few people around.
Sorry, I'm thrown off by it being. Can it be related to the conflict?
It can be as big as you want or as small as you want, related to the conflict or not.
These things are true. The world is dark, really scary, really empty, and I took a first aid course at school once.
The shard is in its entirety. So not broken. That's 4.
I wish it never happened. Any of it.
I will lick your wound if you get the glass out.
This is probably going to use up all the bandages.
You have no way of disinfecting the wound.
Why me? Why did I survive?
Now do we establish our truths? So it's 4, 8, 9.
There is glass everywhere, and we should probably be a bit more careful.
We finish the establishing truths by saying, and we are alive.
We are alive.
So, conflict was not resolved through the truth establishing process, but there was a couple of things that were said that can potentially help. But yeah, currently Caroline is standing standing up?
Yeah.
Standing up with a big shard of glass on a palm, blood just dripping down. Yeah, and it's pretty ugly. It's pretty ugly.
Please, can you help?
Oh, where did we put the bandages? What pocket did we put them in? And we'll
I
get
gave
them
them to the cat.
The cat gave them to you and you packed them in the bags.
Yeah, and we'll get them out and try doing her best to sort of dress the wound. She probably doesn't want to like take out the big piece of glass because she's afraid it's going to bleed more. So just trying to like wrap it around it and hold back a little bit.
Great. All our d6s have refilled, apart from one. So you roll a 9 and roll me a conflict roll. And I get to roll as well.
Okay. Got 2 6s and no 1s.
No ones. Great. So describe what happens.
Yeah. Em tries her best. It's a bit, like I say, she doesn't take the shard of glass out because she remembers from the first aid class at school that might make it worse. So she's just sort of like binding like around it. Basically, the aim is to stop the bleeding, not to sort of take it out. So it's a bit of a makeshift, and like it uses so many of the bandages. But for the minute, she's not going to bleed to death. It's like stable basically.
Great.
So it's like the glass is like so you've got like one hand is just like a ball of bandages, but it's like stable and not bleeding.
And she still has the shard.
Yeah, sorry.
Great. Does Caroline react to that?
It's
How
Caroline.
does Caroline react to that?
Thank you. Stop picking the end of it and just start fraying the end of the bandage.
Right. So yeah, it's like it was established. It will use all the bandages that you guys have, and yeah, you do not manage to gather any glass for your bags. However, unless you want to try again.
When I did it pretty quickly.
You then, after considering that, you continue walking. It's kind of tight. There's cars just kind of everywhere. In order to pass the bridge, you have to squeeze through some of the cars that are placed in here. You kind of look around. There doesn't seem to be anything worth picking up in these cars, but you are moving along. A couple of times that you are kind of walking, and you see on the very few windows that aren't broken, and even kind of reflected on some of the cars through your torch, you see your face reflected, but then sometimes you look and it appears to be a stranger's face looking at you. And you do like a double take and you see then your face again. The two of you notice sometimes that M just very kind of infrequently, but more often than you would like, begins to act a little bit strange.
Sort of like, if when she does it next time, just sort of like pat her on the shoulder and be like, "You're alright. You're still here. You still have us."
Yeah,
Unfortunately.
overtired, I think. Eyes are playing tricks on me.
What did you see?
Oh, you know, like, it's kind of like when you're in a dream and you see someone, you just know it's them. It's like that, except I see me and I just know it's not me. Yeah, I must can't.
Pat her on the shoulder again and just be like, "Yeah, okay."
There's definitely only one of you, if that helps.
Sorry?
There's definitely only one of you, if that helps. I can only see one. I'm sure you're just imagining things and it's fine.
Yeah, sure.
After this information, you continue walking for a little bit, and it starts to very. You hear it first before you feel it. There's a punk, 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 punk. And you notice the kind of hits you. You notice that it's starting to rain, and you hear the rain droplets fall on the roofs of the cars, and then after a little while it just becomes kind of an orchestra of rain hitting and hitting and hitting and hitting. And you, with your first aid training, would know that that's quite bad for the wound that is still over there. Yeah, you just, before too long, it might become quite a heavy rain. So,
I mean, we could climb into one of these cars and try and take shelter until the rain stops. Or do we think we just need to keep moving and try and find shelter on the way?
How long is this bridge? Is it like a really, really long bridge?
from the conflict road.
Well, that's 2 1s and nothing else.
Ellie's not allowed to roll anymore.
Those dice are bad.
Found more glass. What are you doing?
It's time to put another. You can, if you want. Don't forget, you can use your traits to reroll ones, or whatever you have at the top. You can use it to reroll ones if you want. It's up to you.
No.
Right.
Don't trust my rolls.
Darken candle. These things are true. The world is dark.
I don't think we should get in the car. I think we should keep moving.
It's raining and I don't like water.
If anyone finds us where we're sat here, we'll be sitting ducks.
The rain is heavier than you'd expect.
I'm too old for this cool scar.
If I make it across the bridge, it will be the furthest away from my home I have ever been.
Maybe they don't like the rain either.
There is a lot of sound being made at the moment. I believe that's 8. And we are alive.
We are alive.
So, we're still in a situation. You cannot see how far the bridge goes. Because, and particularly now, your vision is already kind of very hard to see in the dark, but even with your torch, but now with the rain that is increasingly becoming heavier and heavier, there is no way that you're going to be able to see. And even the light in Fort Victor has disappeared under all this rain. You have a general idea of where you need to go, but there is no longer a beacon to kind of indicate where you need to head to. You can follow the road or the bridge at this point for a little while, but then it might come a time where you'll have to search a little bit more where to go. But the moment you are placed still in the middle of this bridge with the heavy rain, and Caroline, you're trying to keep it as kind of like inside a coat or something as possible to keep it dry. But this seems to be a momentarily solution more than anything else.
Okay.
I think for now we just need to get to the other side of this bridge and we can reassess what's going on there. Standing in the middle of this bridge isn't going to help us, and we can't hear a damn thing with all these cars around, all this rain hitting everything.
The good news is the rain will probably cover the sound of our footsteps if we're trying to stay.
Also true, but it will also cover the sound of anyone sneaking up on us. So, yeah, I think just head across the bridge for now and see what we see when we get to the side.
Cool. You decide to continue walking, and you continue walking, you continue walking, continue walking. Eventually, the cars. You were walking on kind of the edges of the bridge, and you see that the cars are all, even though they're in different positions and in odd angles, they are all placed within a certain gap, and then eventually they start opening up. And you know that you have passed beyond the end of the bridge.
Why is this a bridge over, by the way? Is it over a river or is it over
Yeah,
the road?
it would have been over a river, yeah.
Okay.
And so like you kind of start to come down slightly, and you notice that then in front of you, the bridge, when it stops, it opens up, and the road deviates to the left as you kind of enter, and last you checked, Fort Victor would be to your right, kind of upwards. And
There's no road or path that way at all.
roll conflict. Let's see. If you can.
Road finder, the cat. Go on.
All of the six. These dice are amazing. That's 4 6s and no 1s.
Nice. Is there a road?
So the main road heads off to the left, and I'm looking to the right. There's not really a road, but there is sort of like a well-trodden dirt path that goes off in that direction. So there is a route that we can take.
Yeah. And it heads into what you can see kind of starts ever so slightly making its way up, just through the woods that you knew you'd have to cross anyway.
What we were told we'd have to go through, so that makes sense.
Dense woods. It almost feels like it's darker in here than if it's possible in a place
Should
where.
hopefully give some cover of the rain.
Yeah. You would do.
Cat priorities are family.
I'm getting wet!
Yeah, your fur is all kind
No.
of like drenching down now. Don't know the fluffy days. Spots. Do you head into the woods without delay? I was making it into the woods joke.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
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 You start walking, and it's cold in there as you enter the woods. It does give you some shelter from the rain, but you do notice kind of that the temperature drops. There is a point where, Caroline, you are kind of walking, and your foot just hits a fairly deep puddle. And you kind of shake it off, and in this weird moment of the ripple of the water, and your torch just walks around, you just see another face looking at you that is not yours. and then once the water stops and becomes still, you see your face.
Can I have a look up in, I'm guessing, like the tree line where the face would be to cast that reflection?
Yep. Roll me a conflict. So
I'm not going to use
what do you
those
see?
ones. 3 6s, no 1s.
Me.
What do you see, if anything?
I'm guessing just woods. Woods around. Little owl maybe, just poking his head out, gonna come back in. That's what I think. I'm determined it's the owl.
Yeah. The owl just and then just flies off. Sparkles immediately starts looking. Yeah. But yeah, it must be a trick of the light or
The reflection from the white owl, yeah, you know,
yeah.
something must have
Nice
happened.
playing tricks on you. Cool. You walk for a little bit further, unless you want to stop at any point. Let me know.
We're just trying to focus on walking in a straight line so we're not meandering through this woods.
Actually, that's a good point. As you are walking, one of you, feel free to roll a conflict to see if you are walking in a straight line.
Oh no, the cat's failed.
Oh.
There's no 1s, but there's no 6s either.
That's a fail still.
Yeah.
Let's give you another candle.
Ah shit, we're lost in the woods.
So I'm like, follow me! And I just start aimlessly walking around the big circle.
We're looking for the owl. We're like, the cat will never fail us. He knows the path. Wait.
But there was an owl. That's what I'm looking for.
Why do you follow the cat?
So, these things are true. The world is dark.
And I'm going to get that owl.
We're lost.
The temperature is dropping, and you are soaking wet.
I believe in the cat, we're not lost.
We need to find some kind of shelter and warmth because being out in the cold when it's this cold and being soaking wet is not a good idea.
If the sun stays dark forever, then maybe the world is too cold to live in anymore.
Right, one more.
One of your torches is flickering.
Is it the cat?
The Edward. And we are alive.
We are alive.
So, you tried to find a path, a straight line from what you assumed was the place, but maybe it's a combination of the wind, or not wind, the rain, but there doesn't seem to be any trail. The trail that you found seems to disappear. You should also all be rolling 7 die. So, yeah, it is cold. You feel this, because of the rain that you've just been subjected to, the cold just gets into your bones. Your fur is just a mess right now. It's not really warm.
I'm not a happy kid.
And you're walking through the woods now, so like the bottom of your paws are just mud.
I'm not white anymore.
Yeah, so what would you like to do?
I feel we've lost the direction of the camp, but I mean, woods are woods. If we pick a direction and move in a straight line, we should come to an edge of the woods at some point.
I was going to suggest the opposite, which is we need to stop and reassess and try and orient ourselves again.
I trust you. You're the woody types.
I mean, how bad is the rain right now? Would it be possible to perhaps start a fire? If you wanted to have a few minutes to...
You can certainly try.
Oh, those famous words. Yeah, I mean, I think if we're going to stop, then maybe a fire for some warmth while we try and reassess and work out what we're going to do.
Yeah, find a fallen tree or something and
Yeah.
just try and duck under it for, you know, a bit.
Yep.
Good luck. I mean, I guess the cat can try and light a fire.
Roll to find a nice tree to get under.
There's some sixes. And no ones, 2 sixes. Cool. So yeah, we find a nice little, a nice tree that's half fallen over that we can kind of get underneath. It's nicely protected some wood that was underneath. It's a little bit dry, so we've got a little fire going. And we're just warming up my little toesies. While we discuss what we're going to do now.
I am going to ask for a roll for starting the fire,
Oh, I thought that's what that was.
but it can be you or someone else that wants to do it.
Anyone else want to get it?
Well, I can do it.
Okay.
I'll
You didn't
take
roll
it.
ones on the last one, did you?
No, no points.
7, right?
Yes.
Only I could rely on the
I
count.
haven't rolled one yet. I can't believe this.
Okay. 1 6, but 2 1s. Sorry, it's quite hard to beat this.
Yes. 1/6 then.
Yeah.
So, how's the fire starting going?
It's painful, but we eventually get it going. So it takes a long time. Like, we have to dig down in the underbrush a bit to try and find something that's a little drier than the stuff on top, which is completely wet. But yeah, it takes a long time, but eventually gets it going. It's not much, but it's enough to, yeah, you know, enough for a tiny bit of light, which is nice, especially since we've lost a torch, and enough to sort of, yeah, like warm my hands a little bit over.
Yeah, that sense of heat and light kind of fills you a little bit with the hope that seems to be lacking ever so slightly. Do you guys stay here and sleep, or are you just staying here until the rain kind of stops?
I guess it depends. I mean, I know we've probably like lost all sense of time, but it depends like how tired we are. Like, right? Do you know what I mean? If we're, but I'm guessing we set off like when we were freshly awake, so it
Yeah.
probably feels, you know, it's probably still the main part of the day. So I figure we just wait a bit and see if the rain
Yeah,
stops, and then keep going.
if we stay for an hour or so and see if the rain settles down, if it
Yeah.
does, then happy days. If it
Yeah.
doesn't, then we might have to set off again in the rain.
I am tempted to try and redress Caroline's hand. But I think that's going to go badly. But yeah, I don't know.
I think we used all of the bandages as well. We'd be redoing
Yeah.
it.
But unless it's soaked all the way through, you could reuse the outer bandages of the first lot. Just strip off the ones that have blood.
I mean, it sounds like a bad idea, but I feel like
Sorry, if you want.
Em is full of bad ideas.
Go for it.
Yeah.
We have faith.
Right. So I'm on 5 now.
5 dice, yeah.
I'm really sorry. Okay, I've got 1 6 and a 1.
You have 1/6.
Yeah.
Cool. How does that go?
Goes all right. I think we managed to like ease the glass out a bit and then like bandage it up a bit, so like she's still got a bit more use of her hand, so we have to lose some of the like the sodden bandages, but basically because we're bandaging less this time and the blood has stopped, so yeah, basically you're not just like having a big mitten hand, you're now like, you know, got a few fingers free at least. Yeah, so it goes okay. It's just sort of like by the light of the fire. Not sure what to do with the bloody bandages and
Check
like
on the fire.
well, I don't know. Em like considers putting them in her backpack. Doesn't know whether that's gonna attract any attention or not.
It might attract attention of animals or them or anything. So we don't know.
Well, it's your blood. You haven't.
I'd burn it.
Okay.
As you take the glass out, Sparkles, you see as this glass is being taken out, your cat face suddenly twists and turns slightly, and you see kind of this strange, for lack of a better kind of idea. Cats the film. This strange humanoid
Terrifying.
cat nightmare. And it's just smiling at you.
I've looked at myself in the mirror a lot. That's not me.
Make a conflict roll, please.
3 6s out of 4 dice and no 1s. These
Okay.
dice are amazing.
Okay, I mean, the cat is the strongest one. we just need to give up. I mean,
I suck at all
Yeah.
dice rolling games. All of them, ever. This is amazing.
As you kind of look and you say, that's not me, you just kind of see that face. Yeah, it's not you. But then turns back into what you are.
Much better.
Wait a moment. So, what's the plan?
How's the rain
How's the
looking?
rain looking?
Yeah, that's going to be a conflict to see what the rain's like.
Somebody check for rain. Cat, put your head out.
1 6. My first one of the game. I mean, that's not bad.
How is the rain looking?
It's still spitting, but it's definitely died off from the torrential downpour that it was. So I think it might be time to set off again.
Oh, yeah, it's definitely kind of cleared out a little bit, and you brace yourselves, feeling a little bit more confident, a little bit of heat just kind of got through to your bones, and a little bit more, your wounds covered, so you're feeling a bit more confident. When you,
We could do the whole marking the trees thing as we go along, so at least if we end up back at this spot, we should recognise our marks on the trees. Do you have a knife in that handy backpack of yours? I could do it with cat claws, but it'll take a while.
I will let you do that one for free. If you want. I won't have you roll.
Pickaxe. There we go.
Yeah, we just think Sparkles is going on, just like, really, is this the time?
Cats is
Like,
classic. Isn't
Yeah,
it?
yeah.
No, look, it's an X. If we come back here, we'll know.
Yeah, I feel like we have so few dice left, but I feel like we need to try and reorient ourselves and pick a different direction to head.
Yeah.
I think it's going to go badly, but what option do we have? So,
I mean, you could literally stick your arm out, we'll spin you around, and whichever direction you land, we'll go that way.
okay. Yeah, I think probably this assessment of the direction is going to be done from the where the camp is, basically, just sort of like peering out through the trees, see if we can spot that light anywhere, trying to, like I say, try and work out which way we came from. Right.
Great, yeah. Go ahead. Roll it.
3, yeah?
Yeah.
It's gonna be bad,
That's what
guys.
we're down
I'm sorry.
to.
But look, your hand's not a big mitten anymore. Okay, I've got one 6 and 2 5s. Not that makes any difference, but there's no ones. Okay,
What happens?
we spot the light. It's difficult to see, especially through the trees.
But like, if you just move to the right place, at first we're imagining it,
But you can just about make it out. So we're like, yeah,
Have a headache.
it's gonna be difficult to kind of keep sight of it as we carry on going. But at least we have some, So M gets out and just stands there sort of pointing out at it to try and it's that direction.
You want to pick out a tree that's in the right direction and aim for that tree, and when you get to that tree, try and reorientate again and go for the light. That way you'll always be going roughly in the right direction.
Yeah, you point out when you start marching, and you are feeling confident, heading out there. Yeah, you're good. You walk and you walk and you walk, and suddenly at one point you hear a disembodied laughter coming from the middle of the woods. It kind of sounds like you've never heard her laugh, but if she would have done that in the time that you've known her, it kind of sounds like M laughing.
I guess M definitely knows what her laugh sounds like, so
You just hear passing by.
Are you some sort of ventriloquist? Can you throw your voice or your laugh? How are you doing that?
That's not me. That's absolutely not me.
That's less good.
I think we need to move faster.
Yeah, pick up the pace a bit.
Bit of speed.
Pick up the pace. Go, go, go.
You just hear again, ha ha ha, coming from somewhere else. That thing of like, ah, passing by. You just hear it coming from behind you, from above you. It's almost like something seems to be circling. Just very kind of simple tones, and then it shifts into Caroline. And then it shifts into a hiss. It just keeps kind of almost getting into your head. Are you bolting it?
Yeah, I think so.
I've picked the cat up and we are running.
Okay. Roll me a conflict roll, please.
There's no 6s but no 1s.
It's a failure though.
Can I use my top card to
Yes. What is at the top?
my virtue?
Okay. How do you incorporate you please narrate to me and describe to me how you incorporate the virtue in this action of picking sparkles up and running away?
It's a very instinct based, and Caroline is very intelligence based, very knowledgeable, has that knowledge, and this is just pure gut of just like leg it. Don't think about it, go. Go now.
You may reroll your ones.
I didn't have any ones, so I had.
Yes, so you wouldn't be able to use it. So
Oh,
the virtue is
Okay.
virtues and vices are used to reroll.
Oh,
ones.
sorry.
So
Fail.
It's still
sorry?
fail.
Yeah, scene still ends. Well,
You get choice back.
these things are true. The world is dark.
These voices are scary.
We can see the light though. We have a direction.
I'm worried we're starting to lose it out here.
Maybe the laughter and the rain aren't that different.
Matthew was right about these woods. They are bad.
The laughter started when the rain stopped, or when the rain slowed down. So maybe they do hate the rain as much as we do.
And we are alive.
We are alive.
So, you are running it and trying to get as much as possible out of these woods. The laughter starting to get louder and louder, getting closer and closer to you. What are you doing?
We don't seem to be able to outrun these laughter things. Are we sure running's the best plan?
No, but what else do we have?
I thought I saw this weird face in the glass earlier, but when I properly looked at it, it just came back to me. Maybe we just need to face it.
Do you want to face it?
I want to know, but it's getting closer. I can
It's
feel
like
it getting
me, it's
closer.
my voice.
It's my voice too.
Okay. I stop.
Stop.
I stop and I drop the cat. Gently drop the cat.
I'll turn around and just shout out, "Stop laughing at us!"
The laughter stops.
Ah, that was easy.
And then you just, kind of through the foliage that's moving around you, you just see what appears to be kind of this weird shadow. Both of you have got your torches out. One of them flickering, but you still see that strange, like, almost like a group of leaves just moving through. Ha.
We're not afraid of you. I say, teeth chattering.
You hear laughter. You hear a hiss back. Actually.
What do you want from us? Why are you doing this?
You see the foliage. The laughter stops abruptly. And you hear a slightly more male sounding laughter suddenly. Seems to go in an opposite direction where you guys are.
Are you happy now?
Well, it's gone. It's not laughing at us
Can we
anymore.
leave now?
Let's go.
Yes.
Let's go.
Yes, we can definitely leave now.
Pick the cat back up.
Yeah.
Leg it.
Turn around, make sure we go in the right direction, find the light.
Yeah, you still pinpointing where it is, you just keep on laughing. After a little while you hear a fuck, and you just hear 2 shots being fired. Screams of a male voice.
Could well be Matthew. That sounded like a shotgun. I'm guessing it sounded like a shotgun.
They've got him. They've got him.
Oh, I mean, he had a shotgun. Maybe he got them.
Yeah, I guess that hopefully that's their screams.
More conflict roll. Let's see when you get out of the woods.
6, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okie dokie. 2 6s, no 1s.
You eventually leave these dark woods. You can just catch a moment and you see up into the distance the light of Fort Victor. Do you head in that direction?
Yeah. I mean, it's been our goal from the start. It
Yeah.
may not be good, but we don't know that yet, so we're still heading towards it.
Yeah. Is there any hope? We can't
Yeah.
stay here. We can't go back that way because they're definitely back there at the bridge, and they are definitely in these woods. So,
Yeah.
what choice do we have?
Yep. Onwards. To the light.
Right. You keep on walking. This is you're now full on going up, and it's kind of complicated because it's a bit muddy.
Are we out of the woods now, or are we still in
You are out of the woods, yes. You've made it out of the woods.
Literally not metaphor. Oh, good. It's all good.
And yeah, you just trying to catch your breath, and you are walking. And your hand, Caroline, the swelling hasn't gone down, and you feel like the fact that it wasn't properly cleaned seems to be, it's very itchy at the moment, and it hasn't been kind of sewn together or anything. It's just, it's definitely there. You feel it definitely there, and it's the thought of dirt is bad most of the times, but when you have a full-on open wound,
Yeah.
it's the worst. But you are kind of marching forward. Point you just say, wait up.
Turn around and see who's behind us.
You see massive cut on his shoulder, the radio gone, shotgun kind of hanging from the side. You just see Matthew. Please, you said you had supplies. Kind of just dragging almost his way towards you. Please, I... badly wounded.
So you have the bandages. I have this little box of painkillers, but unless we get that arm looked at, it's not really going to help. We'll just be more comfortable as you bleed to death, which isn't good.
He is still kind of approaching, so you're kind of like speaking this out into the distance. He's kind of making his way. Do you two do anything about this?
Em is frightened. Em is taking a step back, like watching him, like, yeah. Spooked. She's spooked. She's freaked out. She heard, she could hear the screaming in him, and she really thought he was dead. So to see him alive is throwing her off and upsetting her. So yeah, she's not approaching him and trying not to like make eye contact with him.
Take the bag off, reach in the bag, mentally make my little lists and see what lists I've got and see if I can see anything in the bag, glue, anything we can possibly do to kind of make him less cut open.
Roll me a conflict roll, please.
No sixes and no ones.
These things are true. The world is dark.
I don't think we can save Matthew.
If Matthew dies, we acquire a shotgun.
I'm not sure this is Matthew.
You can no longer hear the laughter.
I wonder if M can fix Matthew.
And we are alive.
We are alive.
So, Matthew's still making his way painfully up the small hill that you guys are situated in. And yeah, what would you like to do? He's kind of like making his way. You're avoiding eye contact with him, and at one point he kind of just drops to one knee, kind of using the shotgun to prop himself up. And he kind of tries to prop himself up with like the right side, which is just the cut one, and he just kind of moves painfully to the left. Starts to kind of use it as a walking stick.
I'd approach him, but obviously there's not a lot I can do to help him being a cat. Can't really get him over my shoulder.
So is Caroline getting her bag out and you're...
Yeah, I'm going through the bag, and if once he dropped, I'd start going back down the hill to make sure he's okay.
Okay. Go ahead.
Sorry, I was going to say, Emma's saying, we should get the gun off him.
Okay.
The two of you are making your way down the hill. You're staying.
Yeah, staying back, but probably like if they're going, like, sort of tailing them, but at a distance.
You, the two of you are making your way down, and you see it's a nasty, nasty looking wound. It seems to be kind of cutting from just the top of the collarbone till about the middle of the chest, and it just cuts through. What you see now that you are quite close to it seems to be some kind of Kevlar-looking armor on his chest, and it's just like butter, just cut through. And Caroline, you did not find anything on your bag.
No.
But yeah, do you pass him, Sparkles? Do you pass him the painkillers?
When I get there and see how bad the wound is, I would not, and I'd be Matthew. There's nothing we can do to help this wound.
Please, and then kind of looks at your hand, Caroline, and he notices the bandages, and it's like, I suppose that's just bad luck.
We seem to have had a lot of that tonight.
Right. you're going, this, you see his left hand reaching for a pocket. He kind of just gets there. Take this to Fort Victor. The military's there. And might be something that they want to know.
I'll go and take that from him. Whatever it is, a little note, I'm assuming.
Cool. As you kind of go to grab, you grab it and you pull, and the hand's not letting go. You just pull again, and the hand keeps on grabbing to the letter.
If you want me to take it, I can, but you need to let go.
Yeah. You start hearing the laughter coming from him.
I'm going to give one last big tug of this letter, whatever the heck it is, before I try and just back off.
Roll me a conflict roll, please.
There's 1 6, no ones.
1 6. Great. You pull the letter, and now you see the hand. Matthew's hand would be the left one, is still there. But now you just see on his face the eyes are still kind of neutral or in pain, but now you just see this smile starts to kind of move, and it's really disconcerting. Like nothing else is happening around the mask area. It's just the muscles of the mouth just start curving, almost impossibly curving, and you just see this figure that you saw before just looking at you. What do you do?
I've got the letter and I'm bounding up the hill
Run,
away from him.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. You start running, and you then just see the body of Matthew just kind of almost in an impossible way, just kind of rises up without like using any arms. Just kind of moves up, and you see kind of the shoulder goes back into place. Still a cut there, but is now starting to run towards you as well. One of you is going to roll a conflict roll to see if you can outrun Matthew.
Don't
Go
go
on.
5, well, 5, right?
5, yeah.
We've got no ones. A 1 and a 6. If I make the decision to re-roll a 1, do I do that now?
Yes.
Okay. In which case, I will. My top card was my vice, which is cockiness. So I think I will. Probably wait a moment longer than I should have done, but then I will sort of dodge away a bit to try and draw him to split his attention a little bit. So yeah, I will stand there. Yeah, I'll stand there to try and drag him off to one side.
Great.
So I don't lose this one. I guess.
Yeah. Roll.
Oh, that's a 6.
Nice. Tear your vice. Yeah, you stand there. Well, it's your moment, so.
Yeah, I think M has that a second of a moment of I told you so, that then just dissolves into horrible fear as this thing starts running towards them, and but yeah, she stays for a moment sort of longer in kind of I'm braver than this, I can do this, and then again that snaps off as well, and then she starts running as well. But that moment of her trying to stand there and her bravado is enough to try and draw his attention for a minute so we can
Yeah, and he kind of moves towards. He's moving towards the two of you who are kind of down, but he then there's more movement happening around you as you are kind of doing this strange moving side to side, and he kind of shifts, continues to run towards you, and then suddenly you just disappear, and then the laughter that's coming towards you suddenly stops, and it's just he kind of looks around. You guys have disappeared from this field of view.
still running up this hill. If
Yeah.
if he's lost sight of us, let's take advantage and try and get as much distance between us as we can.
You continue running for half an hour, 45 minutes. It's hard to tell from not having anything in the sky to indicate any time. You just keep running and keep running towards that small light. And that light starts getting kind of bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. You were going to say something?
I just said yay.
And you kind of making your way up, and suddenly you just hear noise coming from this structure that is atop of the hill. Or you hope it's Fort Victor, thank you. Sorry, Paddy Black. And you just hear noise and noise and noise. And then it quiets down.
I'm just going to throw this out here that running towards a military base probably isn't a good idea. We should probably try and announce ourselves before they see these random individuals charging at their base.
Yeah, I think approaching slowly is good because if
Yeah.
I hear any of that fucking laughing coming from there,
Yeah, fair. Yeah, so yeah, if we're starting to hear sound, we'd slow down a bit and start approaching the structure.
try and catch our breath after running.
Yeah, and looking out for someone that would be on a lookout on a sentry sort of thing that we could identify ourselves to.
Cool. Roll me a conflict, please, to see if you find anyone.
All the sixes, that's 3 sixes. And no ones.
3 6s, was it?
Yep.
Cool. Yeah, go ahead.
So yeah, we're approaching up. The noise kind of dies down from the camp. We don't hear any laughter at the moment, and there's one guy on top of what looks like just like a pile of boxes or crates, so he's got a bit of elevation, and he just seems to be out surveying the area. So I reckon we approach him slowly. Just say, you know, we're friendly, we're peaceful, we need help if you can manage it.
Yeah, there's kind of like this big spotlight almost at the edge. Upon seeing you, he just kind of gets up from the crates that he sat on, and he just kind of turns them, kind of connects it. Just a massive beam of light just comes towards you, and he's just like, "Holy fuck!" Hey! And you just hear him scream something inside the structure, and then suddenly you see more people gathering. Suddenly you hear a voice, almost amplified, not by like an electronic megaphone, but like a proper like cone that someone just uses up to get the voice forward. Please identify yourselves.
I'm Sparkles the cat. Meow.
I'm Caroline. We were over there in the bunker at the town hall. We've come over here now.
I'm
Right. Town. No one's come from the town hall in days.
we came over the bridge.
Great. Kind of see the conversation continue with someone to the side. Do you have any weapons?
No. We ran into a guy with a shotgun. He's at the bottom of the hill. But he had this weird laughter. It didn't make any sense. Oh, at this point, I remember the note that I stole from him. I'll actually look at it. I don't know if it had anything on it or whether it was just a ploy, but
You haven't checked, yeah.
I will look at this note.
Cool. Yeah, roll me a conflict. Check.
1-6, no ones.
1-6.
How many paper cuts do you get?
The note has 4 letters on it. An A, an H, an A, and an H.
He's laughing at us backwards. Yeah, I'll tell them what it says, but yeah.
Stay put. Light keeps on you. But you hear somewhere, right perhaps quite next to it. It's kind of hard to see because the light's just blinding you. That there is something falling onto the side of the wall of Fort Victor. And you see you hear two individuals making their way down. These two individuals approach you, female and male looking individuals, and they are rifles by the side. And they just approach. The male one says, "Laughter, was it?"
Yeah, we heard it in the woods, but we didn't really see anything. And then this guy that we met by the bridge, he came out, he had a big cut on his shoulder, and he came out and he asked for help. And we went down to see what he wanted, and then he just changed. He laughed, his shoulder cracked, it was horrible.
Well, we're not allowed to let anyone in.
But we've come all this way.
And I'm hurt.
We're civilians. Aren't you meant to be protecting us? Helping people?
We're not meant to take people in.
I'm a cat. Sorry, man.
Sparkle sells us all out. This is 10 seconds.
Selling you out.
Wow.
It's a cat.
I mean, yeah.
You know that's what a cat would do.
Absolutely probably a cat. Just
Well, roll me a conflict roll because you're trying to get that through.
yeah, no sixes.
No sixes. Any ones?
Yeah. So I could bear a moment.
Oh, you got the moment up.
Yeah. But,
Yeah. So,
yeah.
no sixes were rolled.
We're dying, guys.
These things are true. The world is dark.
People don't trust each other anymore.
Eventually you are brought in.
I still don't trust this base.
But there's shelter and there's warmth, and I am drying and warming happily.
And we are alive.
We are alive.
You are, after a bit of an interrogation really, you are brought into Fort Victor. However, you are placed in a side kind of,
Quarantine zone.
yeah, shed.
Quarantine zone shed.
Compared to the woods, it's pretty good.
Well, yeah, it's shelter. I'm happy.
Yeah. And you are placed in there. This place has no windows. There is one tiny little kind of hanging light. Just one of those cord ones.
I'm sat there batting the cord.
And you, every so often, like you stay here for an hour, maybe. Every so often, you also see that the light flickers. It seems that perhaps the generator here is not doing so well either. Anything you guys would like to do?
I think the best thing to do is make sure our flashlights are off. Store them in
Yeah,
the bag.
make sure they're off. I mean, if nothing else is happening and we are relatively safe and we can't go anywhere anyway, we should try and get some sleep.
I think one of us should keep an ear out or a watch out. Well, not that we'll be able to see, but somebody keep their ear to the wall.
Yeah.
I fall asleep with my ear against the wall.
Who is keeping an eye out? Or
I'll keep
ear
an eye.
out?
I'll keep an ear out.
So, yeah, go
I
ahead.
should have itchy hands keeping you up anyway.
No sixes, no ones.
Oh,
Well, that was a long candle.
well.
These things are true. The world is dark.
Why here? Why in Fort Victor?
These soldiers are going to help us.
Soldiers. Yeah, the soldiers might try their best, but I'm not sure they're any better prepared for what's out there than we are.
And we are alive.
We are alive.
Caroline, you keep your ear to the wall, trying to listen. It's quiet for most of the time that these two are trying to sleep. Suddenly you hear a glass breaking and sound of something kind of emanating. It's hard to discern what it is.
Wake these two up.
Cool. Wake up. With both of you being woken up, you start to hear sort of screams, and it's not agony screams. It's kind of like shouts. It's probably the best expression. And rapid movement happening outside, and you just hear, "No, get the fuck back! Get the fuck back!" Just shouts all over. People moving. You hear a couple of shots being fired. Another one of these. Something breaking, glass breaking, and then just a sound of something just not. It's not an explosion, but it's suddenly something kind of coming up. What would you do?
Can we try the door to this shed? Is it locked? Try and open it. Get a better look.
I think we've got 3 now.
Is it? Oh, we're down to 3 out. Okay.
Yes.
That's better because I've got no ones this time. 1 6, no ones.
1 6.
Yeah.
I got 3 6s. Means I get narrative rights.
Okay.
The door is locked. You try it. You reach for it, and you just notice that doesn't open. You hear another one of these, and suddenly the shed where you are seems to be getting a little bit warm.
Is this a whole metal shed or wooden shed?
This would be a metal shed, yeah.
I think we need to get this door open quick. Can someone that's not the weight of a cat start kicking it?
Yeah, Em will start like kicking and just like barring herself into it as much.
Yep. Yeah. You put your weight behind it, and yeah, go ahead.
Okay. 1 6.
1 6. Go ahead. I didn't roll any 6s.
Okay. Oh, man. I mean, I don't want to stay in the shed, but I also don't want to get burnt alive in the shed, so I guess we'll leave it. Yeah. So like, eventually, like, I don't think that like the door bursts open, but enough of it splinters near the like lock bit that like Em can like force a bit of a hand through and like work with the key from like, the latch and stuff from the outside.
Yeah, you definitely kind of reach out and you kind of try to feel. It's hard because you can't see, but you try to feel for whatever it is that is locking it, you just see you feel a latch. You just kind of squeeze in and open it, and suddenly the door just swings open. Outside, you see spots of fire that have started. One of them started right kind of as you exit, right to your right, and it's kind of warming up for now, the shed.
Let's get back in.
Where you are, you see these soldiers and military just moving around. Some of them on the walls, just shooting at something that is over the side. Between the sound of fire and gunshots, you hear.
Damn it, not again.
You hear laughter. What do you do?
Do we try and head further into the camp, away from these walls, and just start running? Maybe there's a way out of the camp at the back that they're not here, and so if this place is no longer safe, we could at least escape from what's going on now.
I'm guessing the fort's made of stone.
Yeah.
Yeah, go into one of the stone buildings, then
Yeah.
try and work our way through.
Yeah, so dart into a building that's relatively close and try and work our way through the camp, where it should be relatively safe.
Cool. Yeah. You dash in and you try to find a building that is relatively safe. You find this kind of almost at the center. You would assume there's soldiers passing by, but you try as much as possible to avoid contact unless you want to.
No, but I don't think we're being particularly stealthy. It's just that they're very distracted by everything else that's going on. That
Absolutely.
3 innocent-ish people on the move isn't too much of a problem for them.
Absolutely. Yeah. At this point, they are focused on something else.
Yeah.
And they are. You guys make your way towards the middle building. This sound of this cacophony of laughter still passing around you and kind of almost over. You enter this excuse me, this kind of circular center with the tower, which you can assume is the place where the beacon of light was coming from. And you just make your way here. It is colder in here than it was in the metal shed.
Not on fire.
Yeah, and you see this kind of a door right in front of you, and then a staircase that goes up. Where would you like to go?
The staircase feels like it would be safe for a short term because it would be high up, but we'd then also be trapped.
I'm thinking maybe just like huddle in this stairwell and just.
We've got the escape of the other door that way.
Yeah, I quite like that. Huddle for safety here, and then if anything else comes in or we hear anything getting closer, we can go out the other door.
Yep.
Sorry, where are you going?
So we're huddling in the stairwell now, not going anywhere. But if we hear any sounds of anything coming closer or that laughter getting closer, then we'll go out the other door that we saw.
Cool. Yeah. So you kind of huddle in the staircase and you just wait.
Yeah.
The noise continues, passing by. Soldiers, gunshots. Another one of these. Ching. Anything you're doing while you wait?
I'd have a look round at the room we're in. Is there any boxes, any supplies, anything semi-useful?
Yeah, roll a conflict.
1, 6, 2 3s.
Nice. You have as many 6s as I do, so you gain narrative rights.
So yeah, there's like a little crate in the corner that I managed to leave the top off. There's a bit of food in there. Another pack of bandages because that's always useful. But that's all. Most of it just seems to be packing materials and stuff. But there's a little bit of food and some bandages which we'll take and add to our packs.
Mm-hmm.
And that's it.
Great. Yeah, you managed to grab those supplies, and the noise outside carries on.
What are we going to do? This place clearly isn't safe. Do we stay here with them and hope they fight them off? I'm not sure we can run again.
I don't think these things can be fought off, but I don't know how else to go. We could head out this door and see where it leads and just keep trying to stay one step ahead of them. I don't know how long it will last for.
How are they making the fire?
Was there some kind of grenades or something?
Where are they getting the stuff for that for, though? How do you make a fiery thing?
We don't know anything about them. Maybe they just have them. Maybe it's just part of their being. We know nothing about these
Throw
creatures.
their arm in there?
Maybe.
I think, isn't it that I assumed it was the soldiers throwing the fire, or...
I assumed that until all the fire seemed to be in the camp. So that seems that they're throwing things in rather than the soldiers are throwing things on.
I guess it depends how many of them are in the camp.
True. Molotov cocktails is what it sounds like from the description.
Sparkles, you've lived a hard life.
What cat doesn't recognise Molotov cocktails? Because every cat's got world domination on the
I
brain.
respect you. Yeah, Em's cockiness is gone and she's deferring to the cat. What do we do then?
I out this door and try and make our way through the camp.
I
Not
think
running,
we should
but
also see what is the fire. If it is one of these cocktail things that you keep saying because you're weird, then where are they getting it from?
Okay, well maybe we go up the stairs.
Yeah.
Up the stairs and see if we can see out.
yeah.
Get the lay of the land and work out just how far we are.
Okie doke. Up the stairs then. Charge.
You start making your way up the stairs, and you pass by several levels, but you just keep going up in this spiral staircase that seems to carry across all the floors. Eventually, you reach the top, and you see standing there a large kind of fireplace, for lack of a better word, and a fire that is over here.
Do you think maybe those things were attracted by this light the same as we were? Think it's worth trying to put this fire out? Although I suppose there's lots of little fires down there now, so...
Then we're left in the dark with them.
Open to other suggestions? Well, I suppose we came up here to look, didn't we? So we could just actually look over the edge, see if we can see anything outside the camp, work out if it is these things throwing things into the camp, if we can see what these things are. Just trying to get as much information as we can.
Yeah, go ahead and roll, please.
What do my cat eyes see? Not a lot. No sixes.
No ones that can be rolled.
No ones.
Don't run through many of my
I've
cards.
rolled 1-1 all night. It's very unlike me.
Means there'll be another candle.
And then there were 2.
These things are true. The world is dark.
But I can, in the darkness, I can still make out these shapes outside of the walls.
I'm starting to think we were safer out in the woods.
Sorry, say that again.
I said I'm starting to think we were safer out there in the woods.
And we are
We
alive.
are alive.
So, what are the shapes that you are seeing?
They're like black shapes, so it's hard to make out in the darkness. They don't seem to have a set form. They're very fluidic, but I can see several of them, not just the one.
Yeah, you stand up top, and from where you are, you can see that you are placed on top of this fairly big hill, and you notice that, like you said, there's these shapes passing around, and you now notice that majority of the fire is actually outside of the walls.
Okay.
There's only 2 or 3 spots that are left inside.
So maybe it was them trying to defend the camp with some sort of grenades, and they
That's
either
right.
dropped some, or missed, or something.
And as you stand up here, you do notice that if you stay here, kind of waiting it out a little bit, you notice that after a little while, the shapes, you notice this because you're looking for it, dissipate. It all seems to be quiet for a little while. It takes a while. It takes about 10, 15 minutes. So yeah.
The shapes seem to have gone. I don't know what our next plan is. Do we want to go and apologise for breaking out the shed we were put into? I mean, I think it's understandable. It was on fire at the time. But
Yeah, I mean, I guess I don't want to be shot by these guys for breaking out or
yeah,
for being some monsters.
Yeah.
yeah. So make our way down the stairs and try and hand ourselves into the first soldier that we see.
You make your way downstairs, kind of walking past the many levels that you've just come up from, and as you come out, you see that some of the soldiers are with big kind of mantles, just trying to put out the flames that are actually inside. And you do hear two of them that are checking out the shed. Then look out, discussion occurs, and they clock you. And they start moving towards you, rifles pointed up.
So look, we're sorry. We know we broke out the shed, but there was fire. It was getting really hot in there. No one was answering our shouts. Not that we shouted, but they didn't know that.
You guys need to be more careful. You see any of them?
So we climbed this tower thing here, and so I could see the shapes outside, and then they just all seemed to float off or dissipate.
Float off. That only means they're gonna come back. 4 victors. Not as safe as you might have believed. We've been fighting them off as much as possible. We don't know who to trust. They have they wear our faces sometimes. So kind of just gets lost in thought a little bit.
Is there any other way to tell? Apart from the laughing?
We haven't found any way. By the time we realize that whoever we're talking to is them, they just it's too late.
What were you fighting them off with? Does fire work against them? Does it hurt them?
Fire makes them laugh, everything makes them laugh, I don't fucking know. They it's almost like they enjoy it. We keep fighting and they just keep laughing. There's some chatter saying that we're going to leave. We can't take you with us, but
What, you're just going to leave us here? Or are you going to lock us in the shed?
well, we're not going to lock you in the shed. But
Thanks.
listen, we're fucking leaving now. It's not safe in here.
How about if you don't take us with you, but we just happen to be in the middle of you as you're all walking off?
Conflict.
As a cat, that is highly persuasive, to be honest. You're like, well,
No ones, but no sixes.
It's 2 candles, alright.
Yeah, 2. Well, 1 now.
Okay. This candle to go out. approaching what is known to be the last stand. The period where only one candle remains, and the period where failed conflicts will result not in the end of a scene, but in the death of your characters. These things are true. The world is dark, and we are alive. So, hours have passed since the end of the last scene. The military has made their way out. You didn't get in your way as long as you didn't get in their way. And you were kind of left to your own devices, as you have been for the majority of the time over the last 5 days or so. Every so often, as you are gathering your resources and you are preparing to do whatever it is that you intend to do next, outside of the walls you just hear a faint laughter. It very much feels like you are animals in a cage, being admired and looked at until such a point where you're no longer entertaining enough.
I'm hurt, deeply offended. Sparkles the cat is always entertaining.
Absolutely. You... Well, what you spend the time where the military is gathering their supplies and leaving doing?
If we're not able to leave with them and travelling anywhere else on our own isn't going to be safe, perhaps we go back into that room with the tower, try and block off the stairs as much as we can, get to the top of that tower. If we can find any weapons they might have left behind, I can't see why they would have done, but we can search and look, and we can just go to the top of that tower and try and hold them off up there.
Yeah, barricade ourselves in. Maybe they'll follow them off.
Yep. Not even worry about the 3 little things at the top of the tower. So yeah, barricades, locked doors, weapons if there are any, at the top of the stairs.
Yeah, basically all those crates and stuff we had at the bottom, just using them to block off any.
You're going to the big stone building? In the
Yes.
center? Cool. Yeah, you gather what you can, make your way towards that, towards the stone building. You try to find some tools that you can kind of bolt the door close.
Oh, what's the staircase made out of?
Sorry?
What's the staircase made out of?
The staircase would be made out of stone as well. Yeah.
Probably not much chance of collapsing it then. Unless there's any grenades about. Any grenades about? If you find a grenade and just like a couple of them at the bottom of the staircase, blow the staircase away. We're stuck up there, but I'm a cat, I can jump up anywhere.
Wow.
I'll say the military probably would have taken the charge.
Yeah, it would
of
try.
trying something.
Okay.
What do cats think about?
Blowing up staircases, obviously.
You have your moment on top.
Yes.
Would M like to try and barricade as much as possible with whatever she has left on her bag?
Yes, I think M is, I guess the confidence is not what it was. And she's kind of got a wild thought in her head now that, like, if anyone finds this place, she wants them to think, wow, they did a really fucking good job. So that's what she's trying to do. She's trying to get, like, all the last supplies she's got and all the last, just, like, everything. And, like, combining all the, like, random odds and ends we found. And, just trying to,
Yep.
So, like I say, she's aware that we've like got this like gaping thing at the other end, but she wants to have anyone who comes in to try and find this place is going to have a real fucking job getting it open again.
roll your dice. If you fail this, you do not die. It's just a fail.
Oh, right, okay. Yeah, I was just like, oh man, and after all of that, I cut my hand on my backpack and I died as I lived.
No, moment.
Sudden unexpected heart attack.
6.
You got 6.
Yeah.
Nice.
Nobody's finding our bodies.
Yeah, describe what that moment is like for M as she is assembling everything.
I think there's probably like, I mean, bittersweet is probably far too mild a word, but like getting all the stuff out of the backpack that we had been like picked up, and you know we'd been to be like, okay, we're going to survive with this as long as we can, and then being like, okay, we're, I guess this, you know, this like small pack of food, if we balance it here, we can, you know, block the door. So I think it's probably like quite quiet, quite kind of like, she's probably like muttering to herself, trying to like get it as, you know, like in as best the thing. She's like, okay, so actually if you put the weight here, that's really good to, you know, bar things out. And I remember in such and such they did this, and then they sort of put a barricade there. So she just kind of like, yeah, talking through her process, and yeah, just gradually taking out all the things that, you know, all the things that they'd brought with them, and then sort of like putting them here as a final thing. But yeah, like I say, with that undercurrent of determination, like, yeah, I've done a really fucking good job of this. I'm good at this. I've done this.
The two of you look, and sometimes when she asks help, as much as possible to kind of complete this really kind of good job on barricading the door. And it's almost impressive, the resilience that she presents in such a dire situation. You succeed on your moment, so you gain a hope dice. That is a d6 that will be the different d6 that you have. That d6 you roll normally and doesn't go away with a 1, and it marks as a success on a 6 and a 5.
Nice.
Right, so you are, after your work, kind of barricading the door as much as possible.
Yeah, with like a pile of rocks we can throw down, just anything that we can help defend ourselves a bit.
Yeah. And you kind of gather as much as possible, put the barricade in place, and you sit and wait. Is there anything that you would like to discuss with each other?
This is insane. It's like 11 days ago I was just basking in a nice house, everything was fine, the lights were on. What the heck has happened? It doesn't make sense. This isn't how it was supposed to go.
I don't know what to think about these bastards leaving us there. I don't know where to think they deserve what's coming to them, or whether I want to wish them well, or what the hell are they doing?
No,
Do they really think they're going to be able to fend off against these things?
I mean, if they couldn't do it inside a fort, I don't see how they're going to do it on the move. But yes, leaving us behind is definitely a dick move. Can't trust the military. They're all arseholes.
Sometimes fear makes you do stupid things, though.
Very true. Like fear makes us barricade the entire staircase and hide at the top of a lighthouse.
It's a really good barricade, though.
It is awesome barricade. Not even I could get over that. I'm a cat. I mean, if this is it, I like your style. We're going to take them down with us, and we're going to have the best last stand anyone's ever had ever.
Yeah. Sorry about your hand, Caroline. I tried my best. I wasn't particularly listening during that course at school. Like I tried. I did try.
It's not a nub anymore. I can now.
Oh, that's good. Like 3 fingers. That's not bad at all. All right. Yeah.
I'm happy.
He needs more than 3 fingers.
Are you?
I'm happy. Don't worry. You're all right.
We can do this. I have faith. We're going to get through this. We're going to survive. We're going to get the lights back on. We're going to go home and have a nice, relaxing day in front of a fire. That's what's going to happen.
There's a fire upstairs.
Not very relaxing though. It's the place of our last stand.
If we if we did survive, what do you think we do? What do you think we do in like an afternoon? I mean,
Find a catnip factory. It's my only goal in life. I've only ever seen tiny little pouches, but I know it's out there. Massive piles of it. You can roll around in forever.
What about you?
Move on from this. Move on from this.
I guess maybe high sea catnip factory is what we all need perhaps after this is done. We're a good team.
We've made it this far. To a camp a couple of miles away.
Yeah, made it through the woods, didn't we?
We did. I only got us lost once. Still never found that bloody owl either.
You did, but you did such a good job finding the road. That was really good.
Very true.
I respect how you tried to help him.
You've been a lot better throughout this the whole than I have.
I suppose at this point I'll just start peering over the edge, trying to see if I can see anything approaching.
This moment of levity, and as you, Sparkles, look out, roll me a conflict.
Sparkles looks over too far, falls off and dies. That's a 4, not a 6.
That's
A 4.
You peer over, and you see just too late the face of one of your companions looking at you, clinging onto the wall. Describe how Sparkles dies.
So I see my companion over the edge, and even though I'm a cat, I'm trying to climb over and like pull them up. But it's wet, it's been raining, it's an iron railing, and I just slip or fall. And normally I'd be fine, I'm a cat, I'd land on my feet. But as I go down, I just crack my head against the wall, and you just see the dead, lifeless body of a cat splat on the floor.
The two of you see Sparkles fall over. Sparkles, as you are falling, the very last thing that gets into your mind is laughter. What do you two do?
I think Em wants to try and get back down the stairs, like away from this. You know, I think probably like make some kind of noise, or like a involuntary like horrified noise, and then it's then trying to try and retreat back down the stairs.
Pick up little Sparkles. Can you do cat CPR?
Sparkles at the bottom of the tower, on the outside.
He fell off the tower.
Can you do cat CPR?
No.
As you are in kind of shock of what just happened, you just see a hand reach out on top of the watchtower and haul itself back up. And you see Caroline, both of you see Caroline just kind of move on up. And you just hear as this second Caroline is just making its way up. What'd you do?
Relax.
Grab any of the boulders that we had at the top and getting ready to throw them down at second Caroline. It's down the bottom.
Cool. Yeah. You start grabbing and kind of tossing, and the second Caroline is just kind of crawling across the side of the tower, just seemingly too quick for whatever it is that you're dropping on them. And they just eventually continue to make their way up. What are you doing?
I think Em is going to try and grab my Caroline's like arm and is trying to like pull her like down towards the stairs, like away from this outside bit, because this is bad news.
Okay. Where to? Where through? I should say.
Like sort of down the spiral staircase towards the barricade we've got at the bottom.
Okay, yeah. You start making your way down, and you just start hearing more and more laughter from the top, kind of arriving, and then starts also to make its way down the staircase, slowly-ish, but kind of unstoppable, just making its way. What the two of you do?
We haven't got anything else. What do we do now? We are at the bottom now.
Yeah, I think Em has a moment of looking around at a barricade, it's like all like random piece of
You built it too well.
No, but it's like random boxes. We didn't have any weapons when we built it, so there's still nothing there. Yeah, so I think she's just gonna stand at the bottom with her back braced against it, and then looks at Caroline what do we do? Do we shatter them? Do we stay as quiet as we can? What do we do? I don't know. I'm not old enough. I don't know.
We right, muster up a little bit of courage. We stand. We go and face him. Okay. Take by the hand.
Okay, let's get
and stand up on the top of the stairs. Go away. You're not welcome here. I'm the real Caroline. Go away.
As you are making your kind of standing there, you just see, almost mirroring you see Caroline and an M making their way down the stairs. You see just behind them a white cat crawling down as well. Go ahead and roll a conflict check, please.
It's 2.
As you kind of make your stand and you stand tall and point the finger at them, there is a rush towards you, and suddenly Caroline is right in front of you. Describe how Caroline dies.
Scared, petrified, still shaking, holding Em's hand. She says, "No, it's not going to happen like this," and the thing just grabs the glass in the hand and just twists, just drags the piece of glass up.
You hear that, and Caroline, as you kind of in the last kind of petrified, but you have just that last act of defiance almost to just go out on your own terms and not by them. You feel a very strong grab on your hand, and suddenly that grab becomes looser and looser and looser. And it's just laughter coming down the stairs. Even the cat is laughing. And you just see that second M, head kind of tilted towards the side a little bit, just moving slowly towards you. A Caroline standing up tall above you, the second Caroline kind of dropping along the barricade. What do you do?
Yeah, I think stands there and tries makes eye contact with the other M and says, "You're not me. I don't know what this is. I don't know what you're trying, but you're never gonna do it. You're never gonna be me. All you can do is laugh, and yeah, good fucking luck, I guess." So do I roll both or just got 1 6 and 1 1?
1 6 and a 1.
Yeah, but the 1's on your lucky die, so it's not a 1.
You get that moment of defiance, and there's a small kind of fallback from the second M, impressed by the someone so young and can stand so tall. Eventually kind of just approaches you, and you actually feel a kind of a push. You just kind of fall back on your barricade. Laughter just becomes louder and louder and louder and louder and louder. And the second Caroline starts kind of grabbing onto bits of the board, of the barricade, and just kind of breaking it apart, just completely like tearing bits of wood out, and you just see the work that you've done just be kind of teared right in front of you. There is, however, an opening.
Yeah, I guess I'll try.
I'll just look at you, decide to try and bolt it. Please.
Bolt again?
Yeah, the hook die doesn't go.
2 6s.
Amazing, yeah.
Sorry.
No, that's fine.
Give me the first person to win 10 candles.
Describe what happens, yeah.
Oh man. Yeah, I think she, yeah, so like a bit of it splinters and she sort of like ducks out and like ran into the side and then is like running away kind of like half backwards, like looking up at the tower overhead until she's like sort of like dizzy staring at it.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, she doesn't know where she's going and she's kind of like running backwards through the dark and I imagine like the light on the, I don't know like what's going on with the light at the top, but I imagine like it's dimming and like she's staring up at the light and it's going down.
Yeah, you kind of look up and you just see this kind of shadows everywhere, just covering the top of the tower, the light becoming dimmer and dimmer and dimmer and dimmer. Laughter, just laughter, almost descending down the tower, and you just hear some gunshots in the very, 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 very far distance. And you start seeing faces and faces around you of all the people that you've met over the last 10 days, all the people that you've ever met. They're just a wave, just making their way towards you. Where are you going?
Yeah, I think Em will stare at that giant unstoppable wave and hear the gunshots in the distance, and I think she will grit her teeth and like just like run like at them, just like doing like a yell at them. I don't think it's gonna go well.
Cool.
3 and a 1.
You roll it, you run at them. And suddenly you are involved in this shadow. Describe how M dies.
Yeah, I think probably she's just like, yeah, sort of like enveloped by all these kind of like shifting things, and then, yeah, she's trying so hard not to be scared, but she's really, really scared, and then, yeah, I think some claw or some tooth, or she doesn't even know, like catches her across the neck and the chest, and then, you know, she, yeah, loses her footing and then falls down in the dark. And,
Yeah, you just drift whilst still hearing the laughter. These things are true. The world is dark.
To whoever hears this, I hope I've done right by my life. I hope my obsessions have been worth it. And I hope there are still books out there somewhere.
We're setting off. We have to leave. There's nothing here. There's no supplies. There's no anything. Hopefully, everything will be fine and no one will ever hear this message of me at my worst. I can't stand it. I just need some supplies.
Hi, B. If you're hearing this means that you're alive, which is great, but means that I'm probably not. Best of luck. I hope you remember everything Dad taught us. Good luck out there. Bye.
Thank you for playing 10 Candles. Thank you for watching. We are going to take about a 15 to 20 minute break to recover, and we will be back with some solo tabletop RPGs. We will start with Alex's one, so you'll get to see his face and hear his voice again, and he'll be back with a 1,000-year-old vampire. And see you soon.